Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And it is the Wednesday Nerdrotic Nooner Hump Day, new comic book day for you comic book fans. So I hope you're running to your local comic store and picking up all your books. Be sure to pick up all of them. They need that money. They really do. Good morning, everybody. And first off, I want to kind of apologize to the anti-tricker. I know he's live streaming right now, but I do schedule my stuff weeks in advance. So kind of an apology. And I will, of course, check it out as a video later. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? So YouTube crashed last night. That was fun. We were supposed to do a Haunting of Hill House season 1 recap and review. And right when I was about to start, YouTube crashed. Now, YouTube wasn't the only thing that crashed yesterday. I did too. Well, somebody crashed their car into me. So I got rear-ended. That sounds bad, but and neither of them are good, actually. Neither versions of being rear-ended. So I got rear-ended in Mrs. Nerdrotic's car last night. The poor guy, he was a caddy. He was on his way to go be a caddy. And he looked, I was letting another guy in a lane right in front of where I was near Stonestown Mall, which is where my gym is. And I was going home and I was letting another guy in the lane and I'd slowed down a little bit. And this guy just slammed in the back of Mrs. Nerdrotic's car, which was kind of a bummer. I was listening to Mecha Random Stream at the time. And so that happened. And aside from feeling a little stiff this morning, I'm cool. I'm good. The car needs a little work. I felt bad for the guy because he's a caddy, so he's probably not making a ton of money here in San Francisco. I don't know how one can be a caddy and survive in San Francisco, but I felt kind of bad for the guy. But the car's a lease, so we have to report it. Kind of a bummer. All good though. All good. I'm fine. Cars can be fixed. This is why we have insurance. And that's cool. But then YouTube crashed, and I'm glad. Yes, NPCs do suck, Sebastian. So I am glad. I'm glad to hear that I wasn't the only one who lost a bunch of subs when YouTube came back up. So a bunch is 8. I never lose 8 subs. Once in a while, we'll lose 1 or 2. Based on somebody not liking what I said or Dennis said, and that's fine. That's a micro loss. It's no big deal. Never lost 8. So that was kind of a bummer, but I heard that happen to everybody else. So, and occasionally what YouTube does is they scrub out all the, users who aren't active and stuff. So that happens too. Big deal. No big deal. No big deal. So, as people roll in, if you're new to the channel, we do most everything live. We mostly recap television, and we do it live so we can interact with you guys because we do visceral reviews. It's right after a show airs, and it's kind of like a TV party. So imagine like you're all hanging with your friends and you're watching a TV show, kind of what we used to do when we used to watch Buffy. And then when we're done, it's kind of like a Talking Dead, except without the guests and Me Too accusations. Although, Mrs. Nerdrotic could always come up with some later, I'm sure. So that's what we do here. And occasionally we do like a reaction video and stuff, but not very much. But as of now, because I just quit my job, I am doing YouTube full time for a couple months because I'm setting up a comic store that I'm going to open here in a couple months here in San Francisco. So I've got time. To do YouTube full time. And it is nice to have the extra little bit of cash flow too from YouTube. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that YouTube gives us all like a place where we can sit here and chit chat about stuff and forget about the bullshit of the world and practice full escapism as we try to do here. And we do politics, but we will get controversial once in a while as when it especially when it pertains to pop culture and the offenses against pop culture and ideology getting injected into our escapism, which is more than mildly annoying. Or if just something is just bad, like Star Trek Discovery, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. There was an article that came out today and there was 2 that came out yesterday, and I was like, I actually had recorded a couple of videos on this, and I'm like, I'll save it for Wednesday. So I'm going to save it for today. And one of them is absolute confirmation to a prediction I made. Okay, so backtrack a little bit. Star Trek Discovery is a show we recapped from the very beginning. We were one of the first people on one of the first people channels on YouTube to review Star Trek Discovery after it aired. Our first review came out about 20 minutes after it aired for the first time. We did give it a chance. I actually brought up my co-host, actually did like the show, and we gave it a solid chance for an entire season. And this is back when we had, this was a year ago. So we had like 500 subs, and this was the first show to get a lot of action on this channel. And there was a lot of thumbs up and there was a lot of thumbs down. There was a really mixed bag. But at the end of the series, when the Enterprise showed up, I said, oh my God. So yes, we're going to get Spock. And this is after they said they weren't going to bring Spock in. I remember Kurtzman had said that, and Fuller had said that they were not going to use Spock and they weren't going to use any of the Enterprise crew, which, there you go. And I said, oh man, and half joking, I said, oh man, Spock's going to come in and Michael Burnham's going to teach him how to be Spock, basically. Well, we got some confirmation of that in an article today. Now, a lot of stuff came out of New York Comic-Con as far as Star Trek Discovery is concerned. So a lot of this news is trickling out from last week, from the panels and all the interviews. But real quick, I want to say greetings to you all in the chat. Matt Guy, Tech-A-Man Blade, Silhouetted Animator, Mary Ashmead and her wrench. How are you? CD Horde. Oh my God. Who else? Philip A. Demick is here. Tim F. The Hound 3000 needs some hugs. Captain Robert April. Greetings, sir. How are you? Gunslinger 65. Man, we got a lot of people in here now. Giovanna Dotlick. Is that lick? Is it Giovanna or is it Giovanna? Is that a silent J? Lick that button, everybody. That's right. We got Rashid C. What's up, Rashid? Superman No More. Yes, that's the other article that came out that I can't believe nobody talked about. So let me finish saying hello and I'll get to that. The DJ D show. Good morning. How are you? I saw you did a live stream. I will check that out later. Matthew Matson, our fine patron. How are you, my friend? Sebastian Simonson. How are you? What is up? Jim J. Mike Cedar. God damn. Good morning, everybody. How's it going? Oh, I just saw 6 Scale. Oh man, did I miss your name? There we go. What's up, 6 Scale? How's it going? Melody Hill. How are you? Blue Cat 42. Cato Roan. Liam Hodgetts. What's up? Look at all these beautiful nerds in here. You guys are awesome. All right. So, and I'll talk about this a little bit later, but Warner Brothers did confirm that they are not doing anything with Henry Cavill anymore and anything concerning the Man of Steel franchise. They are also moving on from Ben Affleck. It was confirmed in a Variety article yesterday, but that wasn't the headline of the article. That's what I'm tripping about. The headline of the article was The Flash is being delayed until 2021, which they can delay Ezra Miller's Flash till the end of time, please, because I have no desire to see that at all. But within that article, they said, yeah, we're moving on from those 2 guys too. And I'm like, so comicbook.com picked it up yesterday. And we will get to that. And I will give you my feelings on that because I think it's freaking terrible. Now, moving on from Ben Affleck, hey, they got to do that. Honestly, we've said on the channel, and as a grateful recovering addict, my unsolicited advice to Ben Affleck is get your ass out of Hollywood. You've got plenty of money. Go raise your kids, watch your kids grow up. I mean, yeah, you are blessed with, you were blessed with a bunch of talent that you used it mostly wisely. All right. J-Lo, come on. Hats off to you, buddy. J-Lo. You have enough money now. Hollywood is a dangerous place for you. He's relapsed a couple times. If I was in his position, I would do the same thing. I would go back there. There's too much temptation, man. Save your life. Be a dad. Go travel the world. Be a philanthropist. Do something. Because it's dangerous. And maybe, if you can take 10 years away from Hollywood, then come back. It's a lot like when we first get into recovery, we're told to not be in a relationship for the first year. The reason for that is because that's the easiest way to relapse. It's a distraction. It's something you don't need. It's just filled with emotional traps, we'll just say, that are not necessary. And you really have to focus when you're in the first year recovery. You got to focus on yourself to a narcissistic level, which usually pisses off your partner anyway. So yeah, it's just good to do that. So Ben Affleck riding off into the sunset, I think that is good for him. And they can recast Batman. Henry Cavill as Superman, though, that's a mistake. Do not get and then not moving forward with Superman at all. You're relaunching your DCEU or DCU or at this point it's the DCFU. Okay, at this point they're screwing. They've completely failed. Warner Brothers has completely failed DC comic book fans, and those are the ones you're going to need to start the good word of mouth to get your free marketing to make your cinematic universe grow. And you're pissing them off, pissing me off. Keep Henry Cavill. I don't care if he wants a little more money. You know what? He should probably get it. What you need to give him is a good script. And I don't begrudge anybody getting the most they can out of Hollywood. I mean, if you have a talent that not everybody has, you should get as much as you can for it. And you should never have to apologize for that. Yeah, it's a lot of money. And in the grand scheme of things, acting is just playtime, but still it's a talent, just like being in a sport. That's why they get paid a lot of money, because not everybody else can do what they do. So I do not begrudge them for getting as much money as they can. Let's get to the chat a little bit here, and then I'll go into my Star Trek thing. We try to keep these by the way, these will be mostly positive. And even as if I'm pointing out stuff in Star Trek Discovery, it's, with a little tongue in cheek and a little wink. 6-scale animator, 6-scale combat. I almost said 6-scale animator. What the hell was that talking about? 6-scale combat. How are you? Hello, my multiple personality count as separate subs. Awesome. We appreciate that. So what's the play for today? The play for today is Spock is going to be made by Michael Burnham, and we have confirmation from the showrunner. Also, Warner Brothers is moving on from Henry Cavill, and then it's just an open discussion after that. Are you going to do a review of Venom, or are you skipping it? I did a review for Venom Silhouetted Animator. If you go back, if you look back, not last Friday, but the Friday previous, Friday Night Tights, I did a Venom review, and so did Dennis. So yeah, you can check it out. I can link it in the description, or at some point today I can link it for you. But we did a review real quick. I liked it. But it's going to cause a lot of problems for the MCU if it's super successful, which it kind of was. I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night and started watching Hill House. Eek! Don't watch it by yourself in the middle of the night. Yeah. So my story was I was waiting for Titans to drop in the middle of the night. It didn't. So I watched the first episode of Hill House, and which is great in my house because my house was built in 1910. So fucking doors open by themselves. This house creaks. It settles. So when it does, it sounds like somebody's walking on the roof. And I hear all kinds of noises here. And it's just because the house is old, but there is a noise that happens consistently. So there's a stairway to the right of me that leads to our basement, which is the garage. It always sounds like somebody's walking up and down that thing. Always. We did have a ghost cat. That was real. That was an absolute real thing. The ghost cat is gone. I'll tell the ghost cat story on, it looks like there might be another paranormal show coming very soon. We've got to work out some details. We'll let you know. But yeah, looks like there's another one coming. Did the Daleks take over my room? They're about to, Hound 3000, because in one corner I have all 12 doctors stood up, but they always fall down. So I got frustrated. Like every time I move in this room, they fall down. It's like a bunch of dominoes, and we get a toy lanch. So I'm going to use Daleks to replace them. So those are some of them. I actually have 150 of these. So yeah, I'm going to put them up around the room. And as far as Doctor Who is concerned, watch out for next week's episode. Mako warned me, and oh man, I don't know. Oh man, that's all I'm going to say. Going through the chat here. Can't take scary stuff. Haunting of Hill House is scary. Kind of takes a weird turn towards the end. Not sure how I feel about it. I need to rewatch the ending. I there was a point of it I got totally frustrated and started going, God damn, they're doing feelings in fucking rooms and hallways. But then it kind of rallies and yeah, you'll see. We'll save that for that's tonight at 5:30 p.m. And it looks like it's just me, Dennis. We got some wires crossed, and he watched a completely different show on Netflix, which we're not reviewing. But yeah, I guess he got into it. Mary said she's hanging here. We appreciate that. Hey, I love the anti-trekker. I do. He's a nice guy. Feelings in hallways. Yep. Oh yeah. Which is going to be the theme of our calendar, by the way. That was requested by patrons. Damn, I like Henry Cavill, but they need better scripts. They do, Jim J. They do. Ben has monopoly film to direct with Matt Damon. Is that true? That would be funny. Matt Damon. Hollywood needs to be purged and rebooted. Oh, Sebastian Simonson, you are correct. The reason why Superman is a symbol of hope, and Hollywood, I don't think would know hope from their ass right now. I think it's become such an insular, debaucherous community that, writing people who are just genuinely good, who are just good, is impossible for them. Like everybody needs flaws or they don't make them. No, not true. Not true. And oh my god, hey, that's new. Wow. Whoa, what the flaming what, dude? Oh, come on. I'm sorry. I should really tell you guys before I yell and blow out your ears. I just got a huge super chat, and there's a new thing now. When you get a super chat, like the dollar sign goes beep boo beep boo beep boo, and like what the dude? What? I'm speechless right now. Tamarox, the great Tamarox, the generous Tamarox. That is a lot of money. If you get a chance, Apostle on Netflix is good. Had Dan Stevens, which sold me on it, and that was the Tamarox. That's the show Dennis reviewed, and that's what we got our wires crossed on. Because you just gave us $100 super chat, man. You do not have to do that. That's a lot of money. It's really appreciated. I mean, I got goosebumps right there. I'm completely speechless. That you guys like us this much to do that floors me. Tamarox is like seriously like on with Doomcock and in this community, strong supporter. We really appreciate it. Yes, we're gonna review Apostle now because you did that. Absolutely, I will binge that shit in the next couple days, and Dennis and I will cover it Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. How's that sound? How about you, Tamarox? You tell me a good day for you, and that's the day we'll review it. So follow up that with you tell me a good time for you in the next week or so, and we'll review it. Thank you so much. I don't know what to say other than thank you so much. Wow. Everybody give it up for Tamarox. He's fucking awesome. Hail Tamarox for sure. Silver Spike says she watched Dennis liked it a lot too. And if Tamarox, Silver Spike, and Dennis like something, is it a movie? Okay, cool. Well, then there you go. I can watch it today. So tell me what's a good time for you. Thank you, by the way, for letting me know that, Mako. Tamarox, tell me what's a good time for you, and I'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. Thank you so much. Cool. It's a movie. See, I thought Haunting of Hill House was a movie, so I was a little surprised to see it was a series, and I really had to like stop everything to review it. I feel sad that My Hero Academia did better Superman movie than the WB did, said Sebastian Simonson. My Hero Academia is good. That is just good. I am not a fan of, I can't say I'm not, I just don't watch a ton of anime, but that is good. That's actually a show we should cover here. Yeah, it made it rain. Wow. Shit. Comrade Bernfred Axe, Putin's Axvilda. What do we think of the new CW Superman mockery? Nothing against the black dress, but hell, that actor is such an average Joe. Makes me want Dean Cain back. um, that guy did a good job acting of Superman in that god awful Supergirl show, Comrade, but he doesn't look like Superman at all. No, he looks like Joaquin Phoenix. He looks like Joaquin Phoenix, like younger brother, right? Doesn't he look like Joaquin Phoenix a little bit? So Dennis accidentally watched a short movie and not the 10-hour show. Yes. He found it boring. My favorite part about Dennis Bako, and he'll admit this too, is that if a show is bad, he takes it as a personal affront to his being for him wasting any time watching it and gets actually angry. It's funny. Oh my god. Love My Hero Academia. It sort of makes me think of what the X-Men world would be if Xavier's dream came true. Yeah. Or if they just followed through and not killed Xavier all the time and actually just made a proper X-Men comic like they used to, but they can't do that. They always have to. Please vote for The Expanse at E! Online People's Choice Awards, says Melody Hill. Melody, how much time do we have? I thought we passed the deadline on that, but I could be wrong. Wasn't it no, I'm an idiot. So we have 2 more days, Melody. My bad. We have till the 19th, right? So yeah, please vote for The Expanse as many times as possible. If you have a VPN, you can do it multiple times in one day. Ditto on the Hollywood reboot thing. Why do you think Hollywood returning the script every 2/3 years based on original Star Wars trilogy? Yeah, they couldn't write an original a Star Wars movie because it's generally just a story of good versus evil. There's no tropes in it. There's if you want to look at, yeah, it's basically fighting the space Nazis, but yeah, it's just basic story of good and evil. We don't know who fucks who, and we don't care because it's not important to the story. We get a little bit of incest, but hey, it's 2018. We got Game of Thrones. But it's just a story. It's just a story that appeals to everybody. All right. So let's also please get the trailer. Cass Anvar is tweeting and reposting. I'm begging on this behalf. Grady Broyles, I will. Is it a new trailer or is it a fan made one? I will go check real quick before I get into my Star Trek stuff. Let's go to Cass Anvar. Live on the air. Oh. Wow. Yeah, that trailer's fucking awesome. I just retweeted it. I just peeked at it a little bit. Man, I should do that. I used to make fan trailers all the time. I should go back to doing that. It was lots of fun. I mean, it's hours of pointless work because you can't make any money off it and stuff, but I got to find it. I got to dig up my Lord of the Rings trailer. I did. I was quite proud of that. But I put it to a bunch of metal. So space Nazis are on the dark side of the moon. They are. But the moon is hollow and it is a spaceship. Sebastian, don't forget. And it wasn't made by the Nazis. They just took it over. They put a base on the spaceship moon. Oh, by the way, this episode brought to you by Pete's Coffee. Crack in your cup. All right. So I really do need to get a new chair. The squeak came back. How does the squeak come back when you lose 5 pounds? I don't get that. I don't get that at all. All right, folks, here we go. You ready? You ready for some? We're gonna get the Star Trek stuff out of the way, and I promise you, yeah, it's not gonna be a super. Well, it kind of will be rantish, but you'll see why. Okay, you'll understand why. So first things first, we go to, with apologies, IO9 Gizmodo. It's such a terrible, terrible site. I don't know why I go there. Because I know I'm going to get stuff like this. But this is informational, and I got to give it to Eldrikin. Beth Eldrikin. She is very skeptical about this article as well. So, Beth, good on you. Good on you, because usually IO9 is, oh my God, it's so amazing. Go get some, pops and post on Tumblr because it's amazing. So, Star Trek Discovery showrunner promises this Spock in no way violates canon. But they didn't say they're not going to violate Spock. Look, they're violating him right there. It looks terrible. The announcement that Star Trek Discovery's Michael Burnham was actually Spock's adopted sister raised a few Vulcan eyebrows. Saw what you did there. And this was before Spock himself was added to season 2. Kurtzman is doubling down on his promise that this version of Spock isn't going to muck up the timeline. Before I go on, the mantra all off season has been, it's basically their promotional theme, which has been Star Trek Discovery. Don't worry. Star Trek Discovery. Trust us. When you have to say that a lot, I'm going to not trust you. And within this article, I have a reason why we shouldn't trust you. And I will go on. In an interview with Trek Movie at New York Comic Con, Kurtzman was asked about his decision to bring Spock, played by Ethan Peck, into season 2 of Star Trek Discovery. When he'd previously said, okay, let's right there. When he previously said the Star Trek icon wouldn't be a part of the show. He said it's because he wanted to tell the unwritten chapter of Spock, meaning the era before Star Trek, the original series. Now, granted, that also goes on. They talked about that in the Kelvin timeline, but not in the TOS timeline. Kurtzman elaborated by going a bit into Spock's connection to the plot of season 2 involving the Red Angel and the mysterious signals that he and Burnham are separately investigating. He said season 2 of Discovery is literally the only season I can totally fuck up Spock. Oh, that's not what he said. My bad. He said literally the only season in which we can tell that story about Spock. So are they taking some thought about the timeline? No, they're not. Trust me. It's unclear what that means. I know what it means. It means they're going to fuck up Spock. But I'm guessing it's part of how they're bringing in Christopher Pike, Anson Mount, and the USS Enterprise, plus the 10-year gap between Star Discovery and TOS cannot get any smaller without risking overlap. Now, I'm going to skip down, and this part is the important part here. Now, this is written horribly, is taken from a quote, but it starts 4 sentences with "and." I mean, which is just hard to read. So bear with me on this, okay? This is not the Spock you know from the beginning of Star Trek, the original series. This is pre the original series. He is not that formed Vulcan yet. His experience with the Red Angel and the signals has fried his logical brain, as this article has fried mine, and Star Trek Discovery has fried everybody's. He cannot make sense of it. He is emotionally ill-equipped to deal with it. So both logic and emotion are failing him totally. And he is totally unsure of himself and trying to figure out how to make sense of the mystery and where he fits into the world. And it's through his complicated relationship with his sister that he's able to figure out how to become and actualize himself as Spock that we know from the TOS. I'm going to repeat that. See, it's starting with Anne. And it's through his complicated relationship with his sister that he's able to figure out how to become and actualize himself as the Spock we know from the TOS. Now, when I said last year and in multiple videos that Michael Burnham is going to, help Spock become the real Spock that we know, she's going to be a huge part of it. I was joking. Okay, so they're starting and they start the last set. And that's really exciting to us because it in no way violates canon. It just builds on what we've said before. So, yeah. So they're really going to do it. Okay. And I'm not surprised at all. What they're going to do is forget a lifetime of training on Vulcan and, the decision that, started the divide between him and Sarek for him to go to Starfleet. Although Sarek in Star Trek Discovery is totally cool with Michael Burnham being a part of Starfleet and starting a war and then, at least she's so awesome she can start a war and finish it all by herself, talking to 9 Klingons with a detonator. And you guys really need to see that last episode. It is so bad. It is so bad. So, yeah, Michael Burnham's going to make Spock. And that's confirmation. Again, a surprise to no one. It looks like Spock in season 2 of Star Trek Discovery is going to be a lot like Spock in Star Trek 3. He'll be, irrational and whatever vision he saw. The problem is, it's his vision with the Red Angel supposedly causing the reason he was missing, but he sees it as a child and she sees it as an adult. Burnham sees it as an adult. So of course she's going to help interpret the Red Angel to Spock and help him understand that. So my guess is the Red Angel is Burnham, by the way. Burnham from the future who's ascended to, goddessness. And yeah. Kind of like that scene when Rey in Last Jedi goes down into the pit and just sees a bunch of reflections of herself, which is like, like really, that's millennial Star Wars in a nutshell right there. is Rey seeing a bunch of reflections of herself. It's going to be something like that. It's going to be something like that. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And what else is going on with Spock here? And this is just a headline from IGN. This was the other article that I'm not going to go into. They go more into this, but it seems like the media is running out to help their friends in Star Trek, because this is another article going, don't worry, we're going to answer everything in season 2. All those questions you have, all the canon will be wrapped up. And I don't think our worry has ever been, are you going to answer the questions? It's how you're going to answer the questions. I'd rather you didn't. I'd rather you just left it open. So it says Star Trek Discovery Sonequa Martin Green on Burnham's highly emotional relationship with Spock. And this article, you can go see it. I'll link in the description. Basically says Spock is going to be emotional and insecure. So, and they're basing it on The Cage. So The Cage is the original pilot for Star Trek Discovery. It was lost for a while and then it got brought back in the mid 80s. Help me out here, folks. 86, 87, 88. And then they aired it. It is part of canon, of course, and that's when Pike is the captain. They used some of The Cage to do the menagerie, which is awesome. And they're going to be bringing some aspects of the menagerie into Star Trek Discovery season 2. So they're really going to be fucking with the timeline, by the way. So, but if Spock in that Cage pilot acts like a bit of a spaz. So they're using that as a basis of this emotional Spock pre the original series. And it's going to be Michael Burnham who calms him down. And again, forget a lifetime of training. It will be Burnham who fixes him. So there you go. I'm sure you are all super happy to hear about that. And I'm sure they'll, maybe nobody cares. I don't know. Maybe people just don't care at this point. I don't think we're there yet. I think there's still plenty of people still plenty pissed about Star Trek. Yes, of course, we still have to see season 2. But if the Star Trek short was any sign of things to come, because they couldn't go through 15 minutes without fucking with canon. So, yeah, they clearly wish they could get rid of that pesky canon. That pesky canon, and you pesky fans who give a shit about it, we want to get rid of you. The problem is they want to trade us in. They want to trade, and not a Trekkie, not a Trekker. I'm a big fan, but not an expert in any way, shape, or form. But I watch it all. But they want to trade us in for this new disposable fan who's gonna be amazed by everything and love everything, and in 5 years not give a shit about your show. Period. The good thing is you don't want to totally cater to the hardcore nerds. You need to cater to the normies and the general public because they pay for everything. But you want to show respect for it. And that's all we ask. They're not going to be able to do everything perfect. I'm not asking Star Trek to do everything perfect to the letter. But they just are, what? They keep picking the hardest path. And I don't understand it. They didn't need to do any of this shit at all. Oh, yeah. We got, oh my God, another super chat, $5. Chad Walsh. Hey, Gary, when will the US catch up with the UK broadcasters? They started counting viewers who watch on their devices besides TVs. The new Doctor Who got 10.9 million. Is that counting on the yeah. Well, we just do it overnight. What they do is a 3-day out DVR rating. And yeah, they extrapolate it out. The problem, you know what? It didn't do that great in America. It did a one. Oh my god! It got 1.4 million viewers for the first episode, and then it got about 1.1 million for the second episode. But that's how we do ratings. That's only overnights. And you're right. We need to totally fucking catch up with you on that one. Yeah, that it did good. It lost a couple million viewers the next episode, and we'll see how it does through 3, 4, 5, and 6. The show is average at best, in my opinion. But we'll see. We'll see. Jodie Whittaker isn't terrible at all. Graham is my favorite character. The companions are okay, but I'm still like super skeptical about Chibnall's writing. That's what I am going to be skeptical about. Again, Gene hated Canon. Once he yelled at a writer for making the ship blueprint because he wanted to change the speed in which the elevator moves from episode to episode. Okay, that is getting fucking a bit nuts, Mako. I mean, there's limits to it. I'm talking about story canon. Like, if you want to like change the ship and you need it, because canon does restrict storytelling, but if it's that strict, okay, but you have to adhere to what has happened before. That's why you tend to go forward. That's why prequels suck, because it really pigeonholes you, because you have to adhere to canon. If you go forward with the show, you can make all your own canon, and the only time you have to worry about canon is in basic ship design and anytime you refer to the past. But you can create your own shit. You can create stupid ass spore drives that you stole from Anas Abdeen. Shout out, by the way. We're still thinking about you, Anas. I'm going to give you a little lawsuit bump video in the next couple of days, by the way. We haven't forgotten about you, or at least I haven't forgotten about you. But yeah, Mako, when it gets to that much, that's crazy. You can't, how can you write with that? But Star Trek is popular because of its canon. Okay. So we can't say fuck Star Trek canon. It's popular because people took the time to research that and make blueprints and stuff like that. You can't just throw that away now. That's why you're popular. If you throw that away, you're fucking like 70s Battlestar Galactica. That's what you are at this point. I think I missed another super chat. Hang on. I did. Tamrocks with $5 more. Tamrocks. I can't wait for emo Spock to get turned into canon Spock via wooden board. Facepalm. Totally, dude. Yeah. Oh, man. Perpetual Punster for $5. Canon restricts storytelling like the strength of steel restricts the bridge design. Don't ignore it. Don't. You need it. Now, as far as like elevator speeds and shit like that, I mean, listen, Star Trek breaks that stuff all the time. It does. It all the time. Every show does that. The little things, it's no big deal. But you can't, yeah, Perpetual Punster, you're absolutely right. Star Trek was built on that shit. Okay. CBS is trying to force a round peg through a square hole with Star Trek. They're trying to make something, they want to make it a space opera. It's not. It is clearly not. But Star Trek Discovery is played like a space opera. It's not made for that. It's a very grounded scientific show that you can have weird things happen, and that's what makes it extraordinary, is because you have this really grounded scientific thing take on a giant head in space, or the Tholian web or some shit like that. That's what makes it cool. What's up, Saquist and Krish Persia? How's it going? Fucking yeah. So CBS doesn't get it at all and won't. And you know what? Paramount really didn't get it. This has been something that's been bubbling up for a long time, folks, with Star Trek. It hasn't been good. It hasn't been a solid thing since, in my opinion, since Voyager ended. Enterprise was okay, but again, it was a prequel. It was a little, boring at first. It did get better. It did. I'll admit it got better. But the most exciting thing I've seen, honestly, is Axanar. Axanar and Star Trek Continues were fucking cool. I did like the 2009 J.J. Abrams movie for what it was, an alternate universe, fun thing that doesn't fuck with the real Trek. And what really made that movie wasn't J.J. Abrams or even the writing. The story was very basic, was the great cast that was in it. It was a great cast. So I enjoyed that movie. I did. After that, no. And they're still going off that success because the second one, while it made money, I wouldn't consider it a success. And the third one was straight up bomb. So I don't know why they continue to do this. The contamination began with Star Trek V by making Cybox Spock's brother. Official Dougie J, you are right. And that is another thing that I forgot to mention that was in the IGN article, that this precedent has been set when they're talking about Michael Burnham and secret siblings. Was we did it with Cybox. Well, one or two fuck ups don't make a right, and it's like that's stupid logic. Cybox was dumb. The whole thing was dumb. That is widely considered the worst Star Trek movie, although I enjoy it for some aspects of it, but it's a bad movie. That's not the thing you should be emulating. Anything Nicholas Meyer did in the Trek films, I would be emulating. I don't know. It sounds like what Brian Fuller wanted to originally do, which was, and he did create the character of Michael Burnham, but it sounds like he wanted to do something a lot different, and he had a lot of problems with what CBS wanted to inject it. Midnight's Edge, After Dark and Midnight's Edge both have reported that they wanted to make Star Trek Star Wars, basically. Whoa, Neon Visual, what's up? Start a pool to guess STD's cancellation date. That is a good idea. That is a good idea. But we're not done, folks. We're not done. I got to get to my history here and find this. This is like horrible news. Sorry, doing this live in the air. I didn't have this one pulled up. Okay. Now, a lot of this information you knew, but, and by the way, that's a great idea, silhouetted animator. We'll call this the official silhouetted animator Star Trek Discovery's cancellation pool. You guys can start predicting your dates in the chat right now, or as a comment if you're watching this as a video. I think it's a great idea. I think we should do that with all of our affiliates and friends too. I love that idea. And thank you for the super chats, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will thank you one more time. So exclusive planned Star Trek TV shows will differ in style with breaks in between to avoid burnout. So, yeah, I don't know how I missed this one. And I think Doomcock and Mecca and Tom probably already talked about it. I don't know how the fuck I missed this one, but there's something in the bot. So this whole article goes over how all the shows, they're going to stagger the shows. All right. By the way, there's Michael Chabon. He's going to be writing for the Picard series. He did write a good book once 16 years ago that won a Pulitzer Prize. It's called The Adventures of Cavill and Clay. I highly recommend you read it, but everything he's done since then is kind of, he's from Berkeley. Yeah, so they're going to do the Picard series. They're doing an animated series. The Star Trek shorts, one of them is going to be centered around mud. What I want to get down to here is this, and I do not know how I missed this. So I'm going to share this with you once I get it highlighted. Oh, wait, you're watching, right? You're watching, right? We're already sharing. Good. Okay. So right here, Variety has also reported that a Starfleet Academy series is in the works from Stephanie Savage and Josh Schwartz, veterans of shows like The OC, Gossip Girl, and CW's reboot of Dynasty. Now, they also do Marvel Runaways. They are actually good for a show like that, which is like full of teenage angst and, quippy talk and, basically, elitist Hollywood, speak. Basically, because it takes place in LA. Josh Schwartz, wrote the OC and Gossip Girl, which take place in a very rich sections of LA with a lot of rich white people. And same with Dynasty, I'm sure. Well, at least the old Dynasty show. I like the old Dynasty show. Okay, I did. I'll admit you that. But the new one, forget it. And this, I don't know how I missed this. These people should not be writing Star Trek. They shouldn't be anywhere fucking near Star Trek. And if you're going to have Stephanie Savage and Josh Schwartz, then you're going to need like a Ronald D. Moore there to show them how to write sci-fi. And I'm sure CBS's logic is, hey, Josh Schwartz wrote that comic book show and comic book fans love Star Trek. They know everything about it. No, they don't. They really don't. And Starfleet Academy is like the only show to me that would have some potential. It's a show that, it's been rumored forever. Okay. And I kind of wanted to see at some point. Now I don't. And I have defended Josh Schwartz as far as his writing for Marvel's Runaways. It works for that show. Yeah. So we're getting a lot more of the same, folks. A lot more of the same. So even if Star Trek Discovery gets canceled, which I think it will, we're getting Josh Schwartz's fucking CW Starfleet Academy. Might as well go on the CW. There'll be lots of feelings in hallways. And yeah. On top of feelings, it's like a quasi Joss Whedon speak. Now, Joss Whedon's writing works for Joss Whedon within Joss Whedon shows that came out in the 90s. It totally works. But even Rob Thomas and Josh Schwartz are kind of diet Joss Whedon's. Rob Thomas, in my opinion, is better. He does iZombie. It's a very good show, actually, and he's done Veronica Mars. But again, I don't want Rob Thomas writing Star Trek, and I don't want Josh Schwartz writing Star Trek. My old co-host John Reed is probably beside himself with happiness because he loves this stuff, but that's why he's our old co-host. His taste sucked. No, I love John. I give him a hard time. So yeah, following up with what Caden had to say, Kurtzman told Trek Movie how this varied group of talent, that's questionable, fits into their vision of the expanded Star Trek universe on TV, saying, as viewers, we want to make sure you're getting a different experience every time you watch a different Trek show. Well, okay. So they want to do a shared universe. They want to do a TV universe. CBS is just following a bunch of trends and reacting to a bunch of trends, and they have an original property that has its own voice, that has its own feel. They don't need to bring in others. They don't need to make Game of Thrones Star Trek or Marvel Comics Star Trek. They need to make Star Trek Star Trek. But that's not how people think in Hollywood now. They just they just try to copy, and they've done this forever. They just try to copy what is working. And the problem is they copy a trend, and it takes 2 years to make something. And then 2 years later, you're copying a 2-year-old trend. And then they wonder why shit doesn't work. It's not fucking rocket science, people. Jesus Christ. Okay. So that's it on the Trek stuff. The next one, we talked about it earlier, was I'll get to the chat first before we get to the next one. I want to talk to y'all. Fuck these articles. They're frustrating. Blasted Heath, what's up? Oh man, we got a bunch of new people in here. How are you doing this morning? I'm going up to chat here. And I'm going to search Cybok. Chad Welsh says, Nerdrotic channel, there are 13 episodes and 7 red signals. They're going to get to visit each signal and have a standalone story around it. Oh boy. Is that confirmed? It's totally believable. Chad, I would say that's probably what's going to happen. Canon just means these are authorized bits that actually count in the official record. The rest is just fanfic. And there's also, I mean, there's personal canon. I think there is something to the effect of personal canon. Like I can choose to count stuff if I want to because it's my brain. So, the whole Shatner, the Return series, I count that as canon just because I want to. Meh. Where is Cybok? Are they going to bring him in too? They probably are. What do you guys think? Grady Broyle says people didn't know that Richard Hatch, the original Apollo, was the owner of the BSG.com domain, and had been the creator of the canon and author of the book since the 80s. Yeah, he had been the custodian of it and was trying to get it off the ground forever, ever, Grady. He had a little booth at every Comic-Con that was trying to get the crowdfunding, and he did it too soon. If he'd have done that now, he would have gotten the crowdfunding for it. You know, may he rest in peace. I can't believe Richard Hatch is dead. I mean, he was young. I forgot what he passed away of. How do you explain the Klingons' changing appearance and the behavior from the original series to the motion picture? They did explain it. They said we don't talk about that. Here's the argument on that, Mako. The Klingon appearance from the 60s to the 70s. I don't know how Gene. I can't remember how he explained it, but it made sense. We were starting at that time. They could do more makeup, but since then, okay, because really the Klingon appearances in the original series, Mako, prior to that were far and few between. There weren't many, but since then there have been many, 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 many. And there was what? So Star Trek movie came out in 70, what, 8, 9. So there was almost 20 years, right? Of or 15 to 20 years of that Klingon appearance. That's almost 2 decades. That's pretty solidified. So if Star Trek Discovery wanted to come in and change them a little bit, I don't think people would have been that pissed off. Like changing updating their costumes, maybe making the makeup look more realistic. No, the makeup that they have now is like 3 inches thicker. You can't understand them. You can't see any human emotion under that. And it sucked. It was just bad. So that's not a real good argument, in my opinion. The Klingon appearance in the motion picture was an improvement as opposed to the Star Trek Discovery was not an improvement. People didn't like Cybok. I admit I was pretty confused, Mega Grey Wolf, but when I saw that movie in the theaters, I was also as high as a kite. Mike Cedar says Spock is my uncle. Hashtag me too. Show us on the Spock action figure where Spock touched you, Mike. CD Horde, you never need to apologize on auto-correcting or anything. I am by far the worst speller I know. Okay. Stay in school, kids. That's all I got to say. Have the prize be a ticket to Comic-Con. I wish it could be. A ticket to Comic-Con is like winning the lottery these days. So we should have a prize though. Grady, we should have a prize. We should have a proper prize. I will work on that. Thank you, Mako, for look at our Patreon is up there and our nerdrotic.com. Really appreciate that. There's plenty of bad Trek in TUC. Nick Meyer is not a god of Trek. He really doesn't like Trek. Destiny Captain, I like both movies he's done. I wouldn't consider him a god. He was also a consultant on Star Trek Discovery, so that's a bit of a mark against him. But I love both of his movies. I didn't know he wasn't a fan, though. I never looked up the guy. So I'll take your word for it on that one. Yeah, yeah, and that's what Midnight's Edge said, and I believe them that they wanted to have a Star Trek that's more like Star Wars, that's more space battles and running around and uh, better burnout than Burnham. Hell yeah, Burnham burnout. Yes, say that 10 times fast. Star Trek hates J.J. Abrams. I'm starting to hate J.J. Abrams. I mean, I don't want to. Hate's a strong word. Strongly dislike. Um, Klingorks will have hair, and their excuse is they shave their head during a time of war. So Klingons must have been at peace the entire time during Picard's era and Janeway's era and Cisco's era and their shows. I mean, it was all the same era. Sorry, their shows. Um, there will be no cancellation date. CBS simply will state Disco was from the beginning planned to be 2 seasons show. Snowman Frost, that will be noted. That is considered a prediction. One that I think is very good. I think that's very, very good. I think they will. You're going to see that a lot. It's not just going to be Star Trek Discovery. We're just going to see shows not being brought back. I'm thinking strongly now that Taboo is not coming back. I think it's done as a show, which is sucks. But I'm going to write that down, Snowman Frost. Yeah, that actually made me think what you were talking about, Snowman, when they announced that these are done in chapters. So Star Trek Discovery Season 1 is actually Chapter 1, and this is Chapter 2. I even mentioned it in one of my videos that maybe this is it. All I know is there is absolute truth to the fact that the thing went crazy over budget. Crazy over budget. Which is the whole point of prequels being problematic. Any deviations must be explained, and they'll be hell to pay, says Captain Robert April. Yep. And who wants to I don't know. Shaban kind of looks like more. I hope he writes half as good. Yeah. I don't agree with you that we have to largely cater content to normies. Talking as more of a casual fan of geek culture until recent years, I'm realistic and I prefer definitive takes on characters. I would too, Rashid. But the fact of the matter is, that's what they're going to make the stuff for. If it was up to me, Rashid, I would make the stuff pure, because my logic behind it is that's why it was popular. So we'll use comic books, for example. Batman has been a popular character for 80 years. Why? Well, he's changed within the comics, but he's still essentially Batman. And that's the definitive version, the one in the comic books. And people have been buying it for 80 years now at different levels, but for 80 years. That's 80 years of marketing. That's 80 years of stories. That's 80 years of word of mouth. Now, why do you all of a sudden, when you change it to film, you change the character completely? You change the look of the costume, everything to make it fit? No, it's to make it accessible to people who are not superhero fans or science fiction fans. My belief is, if you just tell good stories, doesn't really matter what it looks like. And that's for us to be stewards, as Tom put it, to be stewards. We'll help you. Us hardcore nerds will help you if you need to answer any questions. Christ, I'm invited to Game of Thrones watch parties so I can fill in all the blanks, because yeah, you almost need a Game of Thrones expert at every watch. Well, it used to, not anymore. Not anymore. It's gotten very simplistic. But back in the day, first 3 seasons, you needed to have a Game of Thrones person there to answer all the normies' questions about Game of Thrones. Now, they didn't want them answered within the show. They were totally okay with somebody being there answering the questions. So where I'll kind of see your logic, the fact of the matter is, the powers that be are always going to cater to normies. So we have to just work within that. Because the normies buy everything. They're the it's the casual fan that is the vast majority. Vast majority. And where I come up with that is through 10 years of comic book retailing and selling pop culture to people for a decade. And more than a decade. I used to work in record stores too, and used to, Dougie's in here. He used to be my boss. Used to be my boss at the warehouse. So I've been retailing pop culture for many, many, many years and owned a business in it for 10 years and took the time to kind of try to figure this shit out. Uh he looks like Ronald Moore after a 5-day bender. Yeah, he looks like Ronald Moore who went to Berkeley. Joan Collins is a goddess. And she's killing it in American Horror Story, says Grady Broyles. Yeah, I fucking love Joan Collins. Love the old Dynasty. Well, if fans didn't hate Braga and Berman's Enterprise, it would have gone for more than 3 seasons. It would have gone for 3 seasons more and showed the Earth Romulan War. Star Trek fans got what they wanted with JJ. Well, I think there's some truth to that. Definitely. I don't know if we would have seen that Earth. I would have loved to have seen the Earth Romulan War, man. I want to see that. Well, now, but nope, nope. I don't know. Did fans went out and I don't think fans went out and I don't think they sought out JJ, but it did make what the most money. I correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Did I hear at one point that it made the most money for a Trek movie? The 2009 Trek, is that adjusted for inflation or not adjusted for inflation? I don't know. Blasted Heath, I agree. Always wanted a Starfleet Academy series before the NPC uprising. I do kind of like that term. That's kind of funny. Oh man, I can't get up right now, but I actually have an NPC face. My Cyberman mask is on it, but it's a silver mannequin head staring off into space. Starfleet Academy in the style of Scrubs. That's what well said. Well said, Sebastian Simonson. That's what we're gonna get. I mean, but Scrubs was kind of funny. I like Scrubs. But I don't want it in Star Trek. I don't know. I think maybe okay. How do you feel? Okay, I'll ask the Trekkies and the Trekkers. If we have okay, say Kurtzman's not involved and we have 5 different Star Trek shows, would you be okay with one of them being kind of funny? Now if we had 5 good ones, right? And one of them was kind of funny, I think people would be okay with it. I think if we had like say Ronald D. Moore or or Ty Frank or somebody was running Star Trek, I think people would be okay with that. Joshy is a hack, says the DJD show. Mostly, yeah. Mostly he's just your basic Hollywood network scripter. And I forget that CBS All Access is a cable it's a network. It's not like an FX or an HBO. It's a network. So they still think on the very basic network level. A great example of that is the show Manifest, which has got Robert Zemeckis' name attached to it. And it had a pretty decent concept that sounds like it's been done before, but oh well. A plane disappears for 5 years, comes back, and it's only been like 3 hours for the people on the plane. It's been 5 years for everybody else. There's a lot of ways you could have played with it. And they decided to make it a police procedural show. Yeah. Because everything on the fucking network has to be a cop. Love Pond, young Kirk in season 3. If Discovery gets a season 3, they will go young Kirk. I promise you. And that might start an actual war. You might actually see Trekkies and Trekkers get up out of their house, walk away from their computers, and you'll see a bunch of nerds angry with they'll break out their phasers that won't actually work, but they think they will, and they'll attack people. Can we preemptively cancel this if we only had the power? Mako says, I met Braga in London and he was very disappointed with all the hate he got from fans. Yeah, and Mako, I've issued my apology to Braga. Well, not Braga, Berman. I was a little hard on Berman. Was Braga? Yeah. Here's here's why people were upset about Enterprise, and you know this, Mako, is they went prequel. Nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this. They wanted new Trek. They wanted to go forward, and I know there's problems with that. Or you didn't have to go forward. Stay in the same era as Picard and go on another ship for Christ's sake, and just do that. But it also had gotten really stale. It gotten really stale, and it had the thing that happened to Star Trek over time is it got this like scientific stick up its ass, and it forgot to be fun. Now Star Trek Discovery is a massive overcorrection for that, and it's neither fun or scientific, but it's got a major stick up its ass. Um, CD Horde loves iZombie. iZombie is actually turned into a more coherent zombie story than Walking Dead has. That's for sure. As a dispenser of much of that hate, it went back a lot further than Enterprise. Yes, and yeah, that's what I just did. The Braga Berman stuff had been boiling up since, whew, man, Voyager. I would say Voyager really started coming out, but and that's why, and then they thought, and it kind of worked. Really, they're like, oh, let's bring some tits on Voyager. That'll work instead of maybe injecting a like a. I think every science fiction show kind of needs a Han Solo type. All right, just that type of character. It works. It works for Farscape. It works for Guardians of the Galaxy. It worked for Firefly. It obviously worked for Star Wars. You inject something like that, a bit of a rogue in, it could be male or female, whatever, but that kind of character helps keep things fun. People tend to love characters like that, fallible rogue, the lovable rogue. No, they brought in tits. They could have done like a rogue with tits, maybe, but no. Borg, 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 Borg. That's all they did for Voyager. Don't get your hopes up. I think they have dug their heels in with this show and go at least 5 or 7 seasons, says Chad Welsh. Well, that means that means there'll be lots of YouTube videos then. Can always, got to look at the bright side. Got to look at the bright side. Doomcock will be employed for another decade and have 2 million subscribers, and a really fucked up blood pressure that we'll have to keep an eye on. CBS shall die. Comrade Burnfed, Putin's axe wielder. It might if the streaming service does not make some money, which I don't know if it is. I don't know if it is. Those things cost, believe it or not, they cost a ton of money to maintain. And there is so many problems with streaming services. Just look at DC Universe launches their first show in the middle of the night, and they didn't want to announce a time because they were afraid it was going to crash. And they came out with this really weird statement saying, "Hey, there's a lot of problems that could happen. We don't want them to happen, so we're not going to tell you what time we're going to drop our show that we're launching our entire streaming service around." I'm like, that is the weirdest statement I've ever read. And then they dropped it at some weird time. They want to milk the cow until it's dead, says Neon Visual. Yes, they do. Star Trek was the first cinematic universe. It's stupid to kill canon. That's what makes it valuable. Absolutely. They were the first fan base. They were the first many, many things. That's why we love Star Trek. We care about Star Trek. We want Star Trek to be good. I don't expect it to be perfect. I'm not one of those people that need to be exact. No, I just want it to be good and respectful to its past. That's why, that's what was the thing that was glaring to me when I was doing the recaps is like, when I started watching Star Trek Discovery, it had been a good year since I had watched anything Star Trek. It had kind of faded away. So when I saw the cloaking thing, I went, wait a minute, that's not right. And then the hologram obviously was what? And then, and the argument I had with my co-host was he was basically saying, well, you can't, dumb it down. No, but that was one of the problems Fuller had is there is a way to respectfully use the technology to make it look like it still fits with the original series. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, not using holograms at all. Use screens. It's okay. Nobody's gonna care. I don't know why they like, and then like in the Star Trek short, they used the hologram badly. It was terrible. So there is a way to do it. There absolutely, honestly, Rogue One. Rogue One is a great example of having a modernized movie that really looks like it fit in with the original trilogy. Love or hate Rogue One, and Rogue One's like an average movie. It's the best thing Disney Star Wars did, and it looks like it fits with the original trilogy. It's not perfect, but they made an attempt. Star Trek Discovery just made it look like, JJ's Star Trek. It works for JJ Star Trek because that's a different universe. It's a different world. It's fine. What's up, Matt Guy? He just says, yes, Gary. I don't hear that very often, so I'm going to enjoy that. Also, remember the DS9 only got good when Berman left to helm Voyager and handed DS9 completely to Bear. Yeah. Enterprise has the sexiest woman for me, Heishio Sato. Oh, baby, says Mako. My personal problem with Enterprise was I'm not a Scott Bakula fan. I don't know why. I just don't. I mean, I wasn't a Quantum Leap fan, and I know people love that show. I don't know. Doesn't everybody's got an actor that just kind of annoys them, and no real, I don't dislike him as a person or anything. It's just like I'm not a fan of his acting, and yeah. Kirk's sex currency theory is not new. No, it is not. It is not. No theories are new. Um, they are becoming so expensive with all the streaming services. I can only afford Netflix and Amazon Prime, and those are going to be the only two standing in the end, Mary. No, there'll be a third one. I think Disney will be around, but um, especially when they're starting to separate them out. Like Warner Brothers starting out with DC, I think they're using them as a test. They use DC Universe as a test. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Trek is done. Put a fork in it. Yep. I wish DS9 would continue, says Lamac. Yeah, that would. You know what? That one did kind of end too soon, in my opinion. They could have gone a little longer. It was a weird ending, but it was good. And definitely stay strong, Mary. Stay strong, Mary. Sherlock Holmes fans have us all beat. Where do you think the whole canon shtick came from? I get what you mean. I really had to get used to Shorin on The Expanse. She's been in other shows where her voice was worse, and it made the hairs on my neck stand up. Yeah, there's certain actors that just I don't know. You just don't. Yeah. James Spader is one of those for me, and that's probably why I didn't like Age of Ultron, because I heard James Spader's voice behind there. Again, I don't know why I don't like him. I just don't. Thanks, Gary, for recommending Haunting on Hill House. It's awesome so far, says Hidden Wiki. It's weird. I will be doing a review tonight, but I started liking it, then I started not liking it, and then I ended up kind of liking it. So yeah, it definitely rallied. I had to watch the ending twice to kind of get stuff because it doesn't end the way you think. Even after first watching it, you're like, okay, that's an ending. Go back and watch it again and think about the last without any spoilers, Hidden Wiki. You're going to think it ends pretty solid. I want you to go back and rewatch the last episode and think about it, because it might not. It's kind of a trip. I'm wondering, has anybody heard, is that like a one-off Haunting of Hill House, or are we going to get multiple seasons? Are people going to go back to the Hill House? And they kind of left it open for that. They definitely did. What's up, Jez? Oldfield, how you doing? Sailing Coconut. Aloha. Spader is spooky. Spader just like looked like that 80s douche. He was an 80s douchebag. Not his fault. I'm sure he isn't, but books don't count. Jimmy Doohan didn't use an accent in TAS, so I don't know where the idea that April was a Brit came from. April was a Brit came from. Oh, got you. All I know is James Doohan was a badass. Did he get shot a bunch of times in the war? Gary, episode 5 was a total mind free. You mean fuck or free? Probably a fuck. Total mind fuck. Yes, Chris. There's a couple of mind fucks within that. And again, I'll tell you, I saw the ending. I'm all, well, I guess it's okay. And then I went, wait a minute. Oh, then I watched it again. I went, oh, fuck. That might be genius. I have to watch it one more time to be sure before I give you my my thoughts on it. But if they did that ending like I thought they did, then it might be great. So, yes, Mako, I did too. But there's something I didn't catch that I caught at the end, and I'm like, wait, there's no way this one thing can happen because the one guy can't do something to make that happen. Does that make any fucking sense? Probably doesn't. I'm losing viewers on that, so I won't. Nigel Broad Savage, what's up? He's a Brit. You need more coffee, Mike? I wish I could offer you my coffee. This episode brought to you by Pete's. By Pete's. Oh my God, it's almost 11. So yeah, that was a lot of Star Trek talk. So I know that's what people want to probably come in for, but I also want to get to my views on Superman. Okay, so let's get to that. We caught up on the chat. We talked about this briefly before, but this is where Warner Brothers is making a ginormous mistake on things. Okay, so we do this. Warner Brothers reportedly done with Henry Cavill's Superman movie franchise. Again, this was buried in a Variety article from yesterday about The Flash and Ezra Miller being delayed till 2021. Fine, I'll delay that shit forever. I don't care. But the most important thing was, it looks like Henry Cavill's time as Superman really has come to an end, at least when it comes to movies centered around the Man of Steel. According to a new report from Variety, Warner Brothers will not be moving forward with Batman and Superman movies featuring Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill. Now, we've kind of heard this before, but this is an official statement from Warner Brothers. This means that a sequel to The Man of Steel is off the table, though the report did not indicate that the studio is looking to recast the character of Superman, even if it is looking for a Batman beyond Affleck. So, I already gave you my thoughts on Affleck. Man, right off into the sunset. Take care of your kids. Get sober. Get the fuck out of Hollywood. It's bad for you. It could kill you. As a fellow grateful recovering addict and alcoholic, go save your life. Your ex-wife is, I mean, like, really, he's got to think about getting back together with Jennifer Garner, because apparently she went and got his ass from his girlfriend's house and drove him to rehab for the kids. We always hear the term strong woman, and it's thrown around, and I don't like the term because it insinuates that there's weak women out there, and I think it's stupid. But that's strong woman right there. That's a good woman right there. When got him from his girlfriend's house, took his ass to rehab. Dude, you should really reconsider. Like, you should, if she will have you spend the rest of your lock that one down, buddy, because she's got your back more than fucking anybody. So Henry Cavill as Superman is good. I like Henry Cavill as Superman. He's been given no writing. He looks like the fucking character. He acts like the character. And people go, oh, he can't act. It's stoic. He hasn't been given shit to work with. All right. Yeah, it might have gone to his head. Yes, Grace Randolph reports the guy's an asshole. I don't care. I really don't care. I just want to see him as Superman. And the alternative right now is not just to not have him as Superman. They're not going to have Superman at all. So they're trying to course correct their DCEU, or as we're calling it, the DCFU, and they're going to do it without Superman, your most important character, period. Now, Batman is the most popular character. Your most important character is Superman. He is the symbol of hope. He is the first superhero. He is a brand that is worldwide famous. Okay. But instead, because Wonder Woman did well, they want to replace it with Supergirl. Supergirl should come out of a Superman story. You already have a Supergirl story on television that does okay on the CW. That's pretty awful, that I hate. But and I like the character of Supergirl. Read a lot of Supergirl comics. I have sold thousands of Superman comics for 10 years at a comic store. People want this movie. People love this character. So why are you going away from this? Just shows that Warner Brothers again has failed DC fans once again. And you keep failing. And I think in their minds that they're going to wait a couple years and recast Superman. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be too late. You're so far behind Marvel now. What you should be concentrating on, not that you're listening to me, because what do I know about superheroes? But you should be doing one movie at a time and just work on getting one hit. You had one with Wonder Woman, then you followed it up with a piece of shit because you rushed it. You midstream changed Aquaman. Yeah, talented directors involved, but and that's a movie that's probably going to satisfy hardcore comic fans, and the normies are going to completely dip on that one. They're going to think that one's too weird. And yeah, that kind of goes to my normie argument. Although I'll probably like it. Who knows? Wonder Woman sequel could be good. You know, I mean, it's made by the people who did the first one. The first one is not the greatest movie ever made. It was 3/4 a decent movie with a horrible final act. Suicide Squad 2 with James Gunn, that could be good. You know, James Gunn is talented. I think he's the right guy for that job. But I think there's some people who will not see anything made by that guy anymore. He's got a little bit of taint to his name, but he's easily the most talented person that you have. I would, yeah, but if you want to relaunch a DCU without Superman and Batman, I don't know. And Batman's a couple years off too. It looks like they're going to push everything off to 2020, 2021. Again, I think that's too late. I think you can have a Henry Cavill Superman movie right now. At one time, Matthew Vaughn and Mark Miller wanted to write one, and they turned them down and went to Snyder instead. So, you know, go ahead. That's fine. But it just shows that they don't understand the characters that they have. All right. They don't even understand why Wonder Woman was a hit. They think it's because they put a woman in a movie. No, it's because you had 80 years of marketing prior to that movie coming out. There was no Wonder Woman movies. People were hungry for that. People loved her as a character. She is part of the DC Holy Trinity. So of course it was going to do well. All right. Like, just of course that, the 89 Batman was going to do well for the same fucking reason. It wasn't because it was a woman. It was because it was a character that people loved that nobody had seen, and they, yeah, it's great in her own movie. And Gal Gadot also did a fantastic job as Wonder Woman. She is Wonder Woman now, to me anyway. I thought she was great. Patty Jenkins did a really good job directing that movie. And I can't believe that Warner Brothers took their time on giving her a sequel instead of just offering it to her immediately. So, if you want to talk about Time's Up, Me Too, that's a good example of it right there. Not giving her due after she directed a very competent and good, decent action movie. So yeah, no Superman, then I'll dip on the DC. I don't really care. We don't talk about superheroes that much. When I do open up the comic shop, I'm going to have to start another channel to talk about the comic books because people don't really like to hear about it here, and that's fine. I don't mind doing that. But I love Superman. I want to see a Superman movie, and if you're going to go ahead with James Gunn's Suicide Squad 2 and Matt Reeves Batman. By the way, Matt Reeves, he's like my age, and he sounds like a 16-year-old kid. What's up with that? No, but oh man, I missed a super chat. I'll get off I feel passionate about this because Warner Brothers could have had a cinematic universe We could have had Christopher Reeve and Michael Keaton in a movie together. That's how long ago they could have had a cinematic universe. They've never understood the fucking character. They've owned DC Comics for 40 years and they don't get it and they never will. This is proof they will not get it. So I think it's frustrating. I think it's completely frustrating as a fan of DC Comics to see this move and just go, you guys, you know what? We might get one or two good movies out of this, but we're never going to get a good, cohesive DC universe. You might get a good Batman movie. And explain to me the Joaquin Phoenix Joker one, which it looks good. It looks okay. Problem is, he's 40 something in that movie, and there's supposed to be a little Bruce Wayne in that one, a little baby Bruce Wayne, or what? So when he fights the Joker's like 75. That makes no sense. Okay, Tamrocks. Shazam might be good. Says $5. Shazam does look decent. I do like the trailer, but it's the trailer. The costume is a little meh, but you know, I like the fact that they went full comic book on that costume. So I'm rooting for it. But again, that's not a character you can center your universe around. It looks like it'll be a good one-off movie. Out of the 3 upcoming movies, all 3 of them look, I'd say Wonder Woman looks promising just because it's the same team. I haven't seen anything. And Shazam, Aquaman, I don't know. It doesn't look very good. The CG looked horrible. I'm sorry. It did. And I listen, I don't like reporting bad news to DC fans. I love DC fans. DC fans are actually a little more passionate than Marvel fans. And I say that as a Marvel fan. I do. DC fans are more passionate about their comics. Marvel fans tend to be a little more casual on a very general level. DC fans are a lot like Star Trek fans. They're very similar. So Tamrocks, again, another super chat, which you do not need to do. Thank you so much. And we will be covering Shazam. All right. So that's my rant on Superman. I don't think they should change him. I think it's a fucking mistake. Not that they're listening to us or me. Jennifer Garner came to my town for a charity. She's top notch, says KS. She is. She has all my respect. You know, her care. I mean, it is baby daddy, right? But her caring enough, which she didn't need to do, to get his ass there. So, you know, the kids can have a dad to grow up with. You know, why do so many Hollywood kids end up fucked up when they're second generation? Is because their parents are fucked up and they're not getting the help they need. And they're still human beings. Yes, they're rich, and Ben Affleck can afford what Robert Downey Jr. Reportedly has an army of people around him to keep him sober. And if I had the money, I would do the same fucking thing. You know, so I don't begrudge him that. And Ben's got that kind of money, but we were speculating this on this podcast before you guys were even watching, when nobody was watching. I'm like, I saw a picture of him because they've been making Superman, Batman forever, right? So there was a picture of him and Jason Momoa holding a beer, and I'm like, wait a minute, he just went to rehab. What the hell is he holding the beer for? So this has been happening a long time, and then he had the weight fluctuation, and you know, and then the in and out of Batman, and now we know what was going on. Nigel Brought Savage says, I don't think people want hope anymore. Oh, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think Hollywood understands hope. I don't think Hollywood can write hope. So people in Hollywood, yeah. It also depends on one's look on the world. You know, I try to stay positive. I do. I have to. If I don't stay positive, it's really bad for my recovery. So, and then if I get in like a good negative streak, I have to write this like fucking gratitude lists every day. And I don't want to do that. So I stay positive out of fear of writing a gratitude list every day. Does that make any sense at all? And she is still hot. Yes, she is. They do have gun. They can always do a 52 twist on it and avoid Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. Are you talking about the 52? Like the new 52? That would be the last thing I would put in the cinematic universe. That was terrible. Oh my God, Mako. You read those. I read those. Ugh. Hell no. What's up, Mecha Random? How's it going? I won't watch Suicide Squad 2 with James Gunn, Sequus. See, and you are not the only one. A lot of people will just peace out on that movie completely. Berman did not make Trek. He made The Love Boat. It was all about who was sleeping with who and the space and not the space navy. Gene never said the bridge had to be a dreamland. Dissenters go out, or to be a dreamland. Dissenters go out the airlock. Says Phil Ademic, just like getting spaced in The Expanse. Stuffy nose today. DCEU needs to hold off on Justice League for at least 5 or 6 years and just do a solo hero films and slowly build your way to the Justice League. Yep. Concentrate on one movie at a time. Start small. But it's way too freaking late. Oh, wow. Damn it. I have a drinking problem. Okay, 52, where the trio disappeared and Booster Gold, the Question, and Shazam had to figure out what happened. Oh, that'd be, yeah, okay, that would kind of work. You just want to see Booster Gold. 52, the 2006 event by Johns Morrison and Ruka. Yeah, I remember. I was in the shop selling it. People absolutely hated it. At least we got one fight scene from Affleck showing Batman doesn't have to be armored up like Iron Man. Yes, Captain Robert April. Batman, the reason Batman's the baddest ass alive. So he goes out with a gray suit and fights like a ninja. That's fucking Batman. He doesn't need armor. My mind is dark enough. I don't need that constantly in my entertainment, says 6 Scale Combat. Same here. That's how I feel about drama too. I don't ever need to watch a drama because I'll just remember something from my life. Is my video still frozen? Is that why a bunch of people jumped off? I was like, man, I just lost a bunch of fucking viewers. What happened? Hang on. I need to close some windows. Excuse me for a second. And they all came back. That's cool. We still got 90 viewers. Man, yeah, I just lost like 20 viewers. I was like, what the hell happened? So tell me, is the video okay now? I mean, let's be honest. Marvel making Supreme Power right now would be better JLA than the JLA. Straight up, Apple Crow. Straczynski's Supreme Power. That'd be great. What's up, Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch? How you doing? How's it going? Yeah, I just lost like 20 viewers. I'm like, I didn't even say anything stupid that second. But yeah, I guess my video froze up. They're coming back now. Welcome back, everybody. I was switched. Video is good. Okay. Video is okay on my end. I just reloaded the page. YouTube is having issues. I mean, besides for my usual issues. But yeah, we lost when it came back. Mecca, are you still there? Did you lose any subs? Because Anti-Trekker lost subs, and I lost 8 subs last night. So I was like, God damn it. I think I got a couple back since then, but I'm checking right now. Yeah, I got a couple back, so it's all good. It all works out in the end. But yeah, make sure you're still subbed and got the bell hit, and do that for all of our friends out there. I'm good. I've been out. Have you been shaving children or saving children? If you've been shaving children, then okay. I mean, children can be hairy a little bit, I guess. Purging the Russian bots. Yes, they probably were. So I only had 8 Russian bots subscribed to me. That's pretty good. Robert April might have gained one. Well, you're one of the few. I don't think I lost any. I think I gained 5. There you go. Yeah, I lost 8. I lost 8, but I've gotten 3 of them back this morning. So, which sucks because I gained like 20 yesterday, but I never get a bunch. I always get like a very consistent amount every day, which is I'm really grateful for. So I'm always getting like 15, 20 a day. That's awesome. Very slow, steady growth. Yeah, they auto drop inactive people, and I think that's probably what they were doing, and that's what fucked up last night. I called my friend, but he hasn't yet to get back to me. But I think it looked like a server to me. And I've told the story. I've knocked down a server for a big company once. I knocked down the server for Technicolor worldwide. I want a sub for lunch. I kind of do too. I've got my Subway app. Gary, do you know J.K. Woodward's work on the Star Trek: The Next Generation comics? Well, I'm gonna have to see which one he or she did. Hang on. Oh, that's beautiful. Is this like the newer stuff from IDW? Honestly, the last Star Trek: The Next Generation comic I read was when they were with DC. I'm looking at the art now, though. It's awesome. Wow, it's very Alex Ross, but cooler. Oh wow, that Spock is great. Yeah, it's IDW. Okay, so I didn't read the only Star Trek I read from IDW was TOS and the Con series. My son needs to shave, but he thinks it's that the little mustache and facial hair is cool. So yeah, we all do at some point. Yeah, I accidentally pinged the world once, says Phil Baydemic. Yeah, so we had one of our computers freeze up when I was pre-mastering at Technicolor, and I remember I was working on Sucker Punch at the time, and I had to finish it. So it was just me and the night manager. The night manager comes in and goes, "Yeah, your computer's like fucked." I'm all, well, "What do you think we should do?" I said, "Do you think I should restart it?" He's all, "Yeah, sure." I'm all, "Okay." So I restarted it, and then he runs back and he goes, "Which computer?" And I'm all, "This one." He's all, "Oh, fuck. You're not supposed to restart that computer." I'm all, "Why?" It's going to shut down the server. So this computer was like, seriously, this was in 2011. So it was one of those beige computers. So you could tell it was really fucking old. And it was the one connected to the server. And nobody bothered to put up a sign saying, "Don't ever restart this computer. It's connected to the server." So when it froze up, I restarted it and it shut down Bangalore, France, New York, Hollywood. It shut down Technicolor. Yeah, I did it. And I didn't even get in trouble. They kind of laughed about it. I felt bad. I felt really fucking bad, but I can laugh about it now. Whoops. Oh my God. And then like they didn't figure it out for a couple hours, right? Because I did it at 4 a.m. Mex-Men nachos for everybody. Mex-Men save the day. Somebody needs to make that comic tomorrow. They currently have a TOS animated crossover with the Transformers. Really, Take a Man Blade? The one with Doctor Who's very good. I mentioned that before. I'll be carrying them in my shop, though. I will definitely carry Star Trek comics in my shop. I like property comics. I'm one of the few people who gets a bunch of properties and reads. I was a big fan of the Buffy comics for a while. You got a roast beef wrap and a mocha. That doesn't sound like it goes very well together. Like meat and chocolate? I don't know. Hated Sucker Punch. CD Horde. I hated Sucker Punch. I mean, I have PTSD from Sucker Punch. Okay, because I watched the ending of that movie 150 times because they kept on having problems with it. So I had to every time they had a problem, it shot back to Bangalore, then it came back to me, and I had to do my little checklist and watch. I watched the first 15 minutes, the middle 15 minutes, and the last 15 minutes over and over and over and over and over again. I work in DevOps, and the Technicolor story reeks of amateurism in their servers department. Infrastructure should be self recovering. Uh, Andre, it was. It was Andre. Do you know what I was burning your Blu-rays on? Nero, a pirated version of Nero. And I'm not kidding. I've told that story before. I'm not kidding. I was told the first day I worked there, don't update the Nero software because we didn't pay for it. So yeah, is Nero still around? It must still be around. Dark Horse did a better job with their Alien books and their Predator books than the sequels. Absolutely, Dark Horse, Alien, and Predator are fucking genius. I haven't read them all, but the ones I've read are genius. I make lots of kids drug tests and pass out condoms. Yeah, you're one of those good people, Viking bitch. Yeah. Nero pirated by so many. Platinum edition, said Edward Brewer. There you go. Yeah. So Game of Thrones season one, no, Game of Thrones season one, True Blood season, oh boy, 3 or 4, I can't remember. Sucker Punch. There's a couple Disney movies in there. I worked on 700 titles my time there. So what was the other one? And Thor, and the first Thor movie. We're all burnt on Nero. Yes. Yes, indeed. And your 1080p was actually 1080i. It was not 1080p. I'm sorry to tell you on those Blu-rays. We compressed them. We couldn't have fit. We couldn't be 1080p, full 1080p because of the compression. The Mac is in Germany, homeland of my father. My favorite Dark Horse AVP story was Newt becoming a space marine. I liked the first one because my friend colored it. I've told that story already. I still use Nero 7. Yeah, if it's still out there, it was a great program. That's why people use it. It was like really fucking easy. You just burnt the damn disc. You didn't really have a lot of issues. I still burn CDs from my laptop for road music. Oh hell yeah. Oh, I've yeah, ever since talking to Doomcock, I've become kind of obsessed with having hard copies of everything. And I found an example why. I don't know how many of you out there have Voodoo. I have Voodoo, and for a little while, it just all yesterday. Now it came back, but all yesterday I couldn't watch. I was trying to do my I'm doing an Expanse commentary. I had to re-record it for my Patreon, and I decided to do it fun. It might get me in trouble, but I like fun over. I'll risk getting into a little trouble for fun. So for my patrons, I'm doing a full visual commentary for The Expanse season one, and it's going to be in a very hidden place. And yeah, I went to Vudu to go watch, which I could have gone to Amazon Prime, but I went to Vudu, and Expanse season 1 and 2 weren't there. They were on my phone, but they weren't there. They're there this morning, but they were gone. And it reminded me that I should download everything and back it up on the disk and just, and then burn it. I have everything back. I have this entire channel is backed up on a hard drive, on multiple hard drives, actually. So, I should have said this in the beginning. If like YouTube does end up going away or we crash or something, Patreon will always be there, of course, but we have a website, nerdrotic.com, and that's where we actually started. So we have all of our audio podcasts from the very, very beginning are there. We've done, like, this show is my 590th show. I've done 590 shows going back almost 5 years, and they're all on nerdrotic.com. Now, they're not all video, but I have audio and video versions there, and we're on iTunes. We're also on Player FM and all kinds of stuff. Not on SoundCloud anymore. I don't do SoundCloud, but David Hux, Gary, do you do voodoo? That voodoo you do so well. Sorry, little Blazing Saddles there. So this is awesome. One of my Steam friends gifted me a new Jackbox Party Pack. It's a party game people can join online. Oh, that's cool. I think I know what I'm doing today. Cool. Interactiveness. I like that. I've got a freaking soundboard that I've never used that I should kind of think about. I don't know. I kind of like just this. But maybe I'll use it. I don't know. Tim F says giving candy to kids and condoms. Nah, Viking sounds legit. Right. That will be on Mecca's channel. There will be no booby slapping on our channel. Well, nothing. I mean, like, yeah, that won't be on our channel. I'm not even going to say what I was going to say. Whew, man, it's good to self-edit sometimes. Mrs. Nerdrotic would not have liked that joke at all. I still have my entire Napster library on discs, and it's like it's on a ring of discs. It's like that thick. I went nuts on Napster. I will freely admit it. The 52 from 2006 is widely considered one of the worst things DC has done. Well, the new 52 and the whole thing. People just thoroughly disliked it. I think it was more about they did not the beginning. It's how it ended, though. I mean, people were buying it up, and then they came out with like weekly comics, and they made all the characters dark and then this whole Rebirth is, people loved Rebirth. People were responding well to Rebirth, and now they're going back to the 52 well again. Movie Fanobi, $1.99 super chat. What's up, Gary? What up, Shaggy Nerd? Working. A quick hello. Yeah, you know what, you guys, can you even tell that I got my beard trimmed? I got a little bit of a trim, but not much. I need to go get a proper trim. No, there was the new 52, and then there was the 52. I know the difference, Mako. I was selling the comics, and people hated them both. That's why do you think DC had to do Convergence a few years later and then lead into Rebirth? It's because people hated the new 52. They hated the 52. They hated that whole mid-era. The good thing that DC canceled something beautiful for that, unfortunately, which was the early 2000s DC when Jeff Johns was writing Titans and stuff. Yeah. You told me that's what they're giving us. Dark grit, suck 'em up, Southern boy. Who's a Southern boy? I live in SoCal. No, I'm from SoCal. I don't live there right now. Who's a Southern boy? Oh man. Yeah, the 52 weekly series by DC, which canceled Paul Dini's Zatanna, which pretty much ended a very good Titans run that was started by Jeff Johns. DC was actually writing some really good stuff from 2003, 2004. Then the 2006 Weekly 52 comic came out, which people loved in the beginning and hated it by the end. The sales were a reflection of that. Okay. The sales were amazing at first and sucked so much so that Mako, I would gladly sell you a complete run of 52, the weekly comic, because I have 7 of them downstairs, so we can talk. Yeah, and it was all from the events of yeah. Kevin Smith will what was that? Will do Kevin Smith will do what DC tells him to say. Kevin Smith will do what anybody tells him to say. Sculpt the Leather Art by Viking Bitch, $2. How do you and Dennis meet, and how did we meet and fall in love? Is it love? That's a really strange version of love. Dennis and I met in my comic store before I owned it. So there's a guy named Russ who used to own the comic store. He was a little crazy. And he was selling the comic store because he thought the world was coming to an end. Shh, don't tell me. He thought the world was ending. He thought it was starting of I think it was the Iraqi war was firing up, and he thought the world was ending. So he decided to move to Texas. And no, he moved to Texas and opened up a woo-woo shop actually, and sold me the comic shop. And Dennis and I were both there one night, and we were talking about Hellboy, and that's how we met. And Dennis just kept going to the shop when I took over, and we became friends through the shop. And Dennis started out by, he used to hang out and help me out when, cause I had 2 young kids. So sometimes I need to bolt and, pick them up from school, and Dennis would watch the store for me. He was just there. Yeah. So that's how we met and fell in love. Poor Dennis. Yeah. Poor Dennis. He's stuck with me. I mean, really, it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. Ed Brewer said, New 52 got me into comics. Everybody does. Everybody's got something. But I am scarred from New 52 because all I heard every day, all day, is I fucking hate this. I personally was okay. I didn't like the weekly comics. I don't like weekly comic stories. They're impossible to order, and it was such a fucking pain in the ass. But it's what DC had to do because Marvel was just kicking their ass, kicking it like they were lapping them. It was so bad. I liked Rebirth. I did. People didn't like 52. People didn't like the new 52. People didn't like the count. Well, the countdown, yeah, they didn't like countdown too. But yeah, the 52 weekly comic, people did not like. Sales proved it. I repeat again, I have actual numbers that can prove that. The sales from the beginning to the end of that Mako had it was almost a 40% difference. That's almost half of it just dipped, and that is it turned into, that was sales off the rack. I also had, DC fans generally don't cancel books. They're pretty loyal as far as subscribers are concerned, but off the rack I dipped 40%. Yeah, it sucked. No. Okay. Has anyone here seen The Death of Stalin, British historical comedy based on the graphic novel? No. but I'd be interested in that, Apple Crow. That sounds interesting. Arthur Dent is in the house. What's up, Arthur Dent? The DCEU needs a Kevin Feige. Yes, he does. Are both DC and Marvel in bankruptcy, says CD Horde? No, they are quite far away from bankruptcy. Marvel was in bankruptcy for many, many years. How much is postage to the UK? It's not that. Depends. Jez, it's not that much sometimes. Yes, Marvel went bankrupt in the 90s. I remember that. Death of Stalin is fantastic, according to Mako. What is that? Oh, Mary's responding, and yes, she has figured out Dennis completely. He is, but when he hates something, you cannot change his mind. He is nice though and very smart. Yes, but Dennis is a curmudgeon. He's a bit of a curmudgeon. He won't. Yeah, once he's over something, he's over something. There is no bringing him back ever. Me, I'm more of a forgiving type. Well, hey, if you like that kind of DC guys, then you're gonna love Heroes in Crisis, because they are going full on back to that shit. I can't believe they're doing it. That's stupid, but whatever. Is SJW Marvel dying? Yes, it is dying a very slow, horrible death. Now they getting rid of Chuck Wendig and what's her name is a good start. They need to get rid of some more people like that. And these are people who, I don't give a shit what their politics are. These are people who don't like comic books, and people who are just writing comic books because it looks good on the resume, and they're using it as a stepstone, which occasionally I don't mind them doing. If you put some effort into it, you go, hey, like, I get a chance to write a comic book. Cool. But both Chuck Wendig and Chelsea Kane weren't, are both like completely, I mean, just like horrible people on the internet. I don't know how they are in their personal life, but just like not really cool on Twitter, and are constantly on Twitter. But with Chelsea Kane, she had 2 years to write 4 fucking issues of a comic book, which is 24 pages of script each, and could not do it. So peace out, get rid of her. And that costs, and there was a management change at Marvel, so of course they're going to get rid of the person who is lagging. And Chuck Wendig incited violence on a certain sect of our country, like actually said in his tweet that people should go basically beat these people. So that, yeah, you can't have that around. Heroes in Crisis is polarizing too. It is, to say the least, because it's something that's not necessary. It's going back to that Mako. It's going back to like, let's deconstruct the superhero. It's like, can we construct a soup? Can we construct a hero? I stopped reading Marvel completely with Riri Williams, and we'll never get back. Too old. Changed my mind on that. Riri Williams was bloody awful, Mako. It was so bad. And Iron Man is ruined as a title, in my opinion. Like, Tony Stark is written like a 10-year-old girl, and it's terrible, which sucks. And I stopped collecting it. I did. I have every Iron Man comic. I have every Iron Man comic. I have every comic he has ever been in, and I stopped. So this grand experiment they've been doing has made a lot of people dip from comics. Thankfully, I will not be relying on new comics as much when I sell my stuff. I will be relying on the old fans who want to read the old stuff and who want to get it at a pretty decent price. That's all. They need to get rid of Cebulski. They need to get rid of everybody involved in Marvel Comics and restart completely. that everybody keep Cates. He's okay, Donny Cates. But everybody else can go. I wouldn't miss him. Tom King on Batman can kiss my ass. Screw that dude. And being involved in the hoodwink on the comic stores, with the whole fake wedding that they helped market, that he was complicit in, and complicit in some other stuff too. So F that dude. That's a guy I will not change my mind on, because no, well, I won't elaborate anymore, but it goes way beyond what he did with Batman. I don't like that dude. And it takes a lot for me to say that, but when you fuck with one of my friends, I tend to take it a little personal. So, what's new? What's this new? Oh, well, you missed that, T Stoney. That was way back earlier in the podcast. The skinny on Mikey Spock is that she's going to make Spock. It was confirmed in an article that came out yesterday from the creators, from a quote from the creators saying, essentially, that Spock is going to get realized through his relationship with Michael Burnham. Although he's not mentioned her ever since. So I think there's going to be some sort of, what do you guys think? Are they going to mind wipe her, or maybe this might be more evidence that this is only going to be 2 seasons. They keep on saying we're going to answer all the questions from season 1. Well, why would you answer all the questions from season 1 if you're going to have a season 3? Wouldn't you want to keep a couple open? So that will explain why he looks 20 years older in TOS then. Exactly, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, that guy doesn't look anything like Leonard Nimoy. At least Zachary Quinn, how do you say his last name? Zachary something or other. Like kind of looks like Leonard Nimoy. I mean, there is some similarities there. This guy doesn't look anything like Leonard Nimoy. Hot rampant nookie with Mikey is going to age even a Vulcan. Could age even a Vulcan. Well, when you have sex with a piece of wood, that's what happens. There's splinters involved. Okay, there's splinters involved. He looks like a hipster elf. Yep. He looks like Dalton Mortimer. Edward Brewer. Oh man, the deep cut of looking like a person from somebody else's chat who might be in a Dalton. That's a shout out for you. Are you in there? He's probably doing a live stream with I Love Comics. He looks like Dalton mode. That is funny. That is funny. Dalton Mortimer is a guy who he's a sub, and you've seen him in the chat. He's on I Love Comics streams. He's basically he's a Mr. Anti postmodern, which I do love him for, to be honest with you. Yeah, that was funny. I'm just seeing if there's God, is there anything else going down today? Is anybody else? Oh, Secure Team 10 just came out with a video. Good UFO stuff. Man, I should have ate before this. I'm getting super hungry, but I'm not leaving just yet. Oh, Star Trek versus Transformers. This is the kind of shit you can pull off in comic books that you really couldn't pull off anywhere else. This is why comic books rule. Because I mean, this does sound a bit silly. It does. Okay, but silly is good. I like silly. I think there needs to be more silly in the world. There needs to be more Transformers and fucking Star Trek. What the fuck? I love it. It concludes. And the problem is IDW is like a really, it's a company that's in bad shape right now because it's a saying I don't bring up here very much, but it's true. They got woke and they went broke. And Disney had to bail them out. They decided to have a full-on socialist right GI Joe, which that was kind of funny. But but yeah. Oh, look at that. That art looks pretty. It looks all right. I mean, it's not great, but and there's some definite modeling going on there, which I mean that happens so much. Remember when comic artists used to just draw? I mean, like they used to use like maybe a photo for reference, but they wouldn't like trace or use 3D modeling. Remember those good old days? Now it's like this is straight up somebody took a picture of three of their friends, and yeah, I'm not going to say they out and out traced it or anything like that, but yeah, it looks okay though. I'm okay with the art. There are deadlines to deal with, but that used to be so taboo in comics. Like if somebody, like Alex Ross got away with it because he just basically paints over pictures he took. But God, I used to be hardcore in that. You guys remember what Clerks when you used to just call an inker a tracer, or was that Mallrats? Yeah, it was Clerks. Yeah, he's an inker. No, he's a tracer. Was that Mallrats? Now I'm getting it mixed up. Why does Captain Kirk look like Jim Parsons? That's funny. Captain Robert April is here. Yes. Yeah, but he's got to get going. You have to go see your shrink, Captain Robert April. Yes, I got to see mine later, so I'm not judging or anything. Oh, your doctor. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get woke, go broke. You damn straight. And get woke, go broke applies to the other side too. Like if you like, I don't know, if you went full on, I know, except for Chick-fil-A. They're like, I guess, the one exception. But if you went the other way, it would be the same effect. You want to stay in the middle if you want to make money. Uh, thanks, Mako. I could see the comic book. I get a little nuts. Yes, I have comic book guy passion. Don't bang your head against the display case, please. Chasing, was it Chasing Amy? It was a Kevin Smith movie. I apologize if I got it wrong, but he called an inker a tracer, which is horrible. Inkers actually do a lot of work. Okay. They bring out a lot of good art. And sometimes the artist like pencils like shit, and the inker practically does all the art. So, wait, I got some original comic art right down here. Hang on. Hang on. I gotta grab it. Oh, wait. You guys want to see this? This is cool. Okay. I got some original Doctor Who art from Ben Templesmith. Yeah. So this is some original Doctor Who art from Ben Templesmith right here. That was in a Doctor Who comic. Ben Templesmith is a friend of mine, by the way. So now he does digital. So what he does is draws, and then he actually puts in a real face under it. It's really unique and cool. He's more of a digital painter. He's a true artiste. My friend Emonic did this. This is one. Oh, wait, that's kind of backwards. Is it backwards? No. Melissa discovered this guy. Like actually discovered it. It's our friend Emonic. Okay. So this is my wife's inking job. Our friend Josh Wallace drew a picture, and my wife was going to maybe take a crack at inking for DC Comics because Melissa's like a great, great artist. And then she found out how much they made, and she's like, there's no way I'm fucking doing that. But she started inking this picture by Josh Wallace, and this is like my friend Josh. He's an architect. Dude, check out his art. And he just whooped this thing up. He's like, it's kind of shitty. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, look at the buoyancy on those boobs, by the way. And Melissa inked some of this. But yeah, I got some talented friends. I don't think any of my art is in here. Oh, here's an actual Runaways page. Yeah, this is just laying around my office, by the way. So this is from issue number 2 of Runaways. Yeah. What else? What else? These are cool. I don't know if you guys. There used to be a thing called the Mini Marvels. Chris Giaroso. These are kind of cute. I like that. I've got a Speed Racer cell. Well, what else? Do I want to show my? Oh, yeah. That's something you can't see that. So I drew that off of a Mystique cover. That was my stuff. So there you go. So I'm going through my house right now to get this comic store ready, and it's fucking disastrous. I can't even tell you. I had to take, so Mrs. Nerdrotic only does one thing that pisses me off, and she does it all the time. And it's kind of funny now, but it really, okay. So I'll clear out the garage to get ready cause I've got to I need a staging room to go through 50,000 comic books. I got 50,000 comic books I need to go through. And so I cleared out the garage, but Mrs. Nerdrotic saw an opportunity to bring some more shit home from the salon. So I go downstairs to do my work, and there's all this salon shit in my once beautifully open, empty garage. Had a mini brain aneurysm, and then remembered that I loved her, counted to 10, said the Serenity Prayer, and just moved on. So I had to take out the entire garage to refit it to get the staging area ready for today, which is going through 50,000 fucking comic books. So see, you guys are like therapeutic. I heard boobs. You heard boobs. Well, you missed it. The buoyant boobs. Here, I'll show it again. Buoyant boobs right there. This is art by my friend Josh Wallace, who is this is casual art. This is not a professional artist. This is a guy who is an architect who just likes to draw once in a while. Like dark fantasy. Freaking jerk. Hate talented. Yeah, that stuff's cool. That stuff's cool. You only see spread legs? Where? On my drawing? Okay, yeah, because it's a pencil. Hang on. I'll put it up one more time. This isn't like trace. This was drawn off of a cover. I was looking at a Mystique cover. Hang on, I'll try to get it closer. There we go. Can you see that? There we go. I don't show my art much, but there, that's more than spread legs. Apple Crow, I am so jealous. I have a Venture Brothers storyboard. I have no idea where it came from, and it arrived in the mail. Are you fucking serious? Did it just mysteriously show up, or did you? I need to find one. I need a Venture Brothers cell or something. Thanks, Silver Spike. I appreciate it. I definitely need a Venture Brothers cell. Thanks for planting that seed in my head, Apple Crow. I am now going to spend unnecessary money looking for one. I wonder, I can't do that live. I already bought something last time live. The contest. Okay, yes, remember the contest, which is we are guessing when and how Star Trek Discovery will end. The winner will receive something. All right. And maybe we can get the others involved in this. I don't know. But I've got something I can pick out as a prize. You guys remember that VHS Star Trek game? The one with the Klingon. Does anybody remember that? I fucking found mine. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I still had it. But yeah, it's completely intact. It's perfect. Yeah. Also check the Venture Brothers blog. I will. I think they sold art. Fucking, I will find a way. You guys got to check out the Venture Brothers book. It's beautiful. Yeah, I dug that game. Yeah, I totally. I need to have a VCR again. I don't have a VCR. Did they make like a excuse me, they must have made a DVD version of it, right? Or maybe not. Maybe not. Oh, hey, guess what, guys? I think I spelled everybody's name right, but if I didn't, hey, there's always next time. I've got the new video going. Now, I made this 2 days ago, so there could be new. Nigel, you're on this video, by the way. I decided your punishment was long enough. But again, sometimes I copy and paste, and yeah, I don't. Hopefully, like the last one I showed you guys wasn't my finished version. I put the wrong version up. These are our patrons. I'm not going anywhere, by the way, folks. I'm just showing our patron video. These are our wonderful patrons. At the end of this video, you will see what you get from our Patreon. That's why I'm going through the garage too. I need to find some interesting stuff to give you guys. We're out of some of the packages. We finished up the Star Wars figures, so I think the rest of you, are going to get Daleks. You okay with Daleks? Daleks is pretty fun. Like, who doesn't like a Dalek? Who wouldn't? I mean, even if you hate Doctor Who, like putting a Dalek on your desk looks kind of cool. So, yeah, people just leave when I put this video up. I'm not leaving yet, but I probably should pretty soon. So fuck it. You think they could make Wheaton a Q and get rid of him? I would. Will Wheaton is off Twitter, so I'm happy about that. Will Wheaton blocked me. I got a little miffed about that because I've hung out with that dude. I've hung out with him. We're still working on getting Derek Robertson on. God, I'm just gonna get. We also might be getting somebody on from the Dark Crystal sequel. And I definitely want to get Doc Hammer and Jackson Public on the show somehow, some way. By the way, we have 2 shows you guys need to check out. Farscape Review Season 1, Venture Brothers Season 7 review, both with Viking Bitch. She's a fucking natural. You got to check her out. She's got a great laugh. She's also really fucking good on YouTube. Really good, which is not easy to do. Not easy to do. I also want to thank Mary Ashmead, our great wrench wench. She's this is where she got her start, folks. Don't forget. So God, I just yelled in the mic. Sorry about that. Cato Roan, Ed Brewer, Apple Crow, Halam 899, Nigel Brought Savage, Philip A. Dimick. I just missed somebody. Daniel Nolan. What's up, Daniel? How's it going, man? I'm calling it right now. John Delancey shows up in Q and undoes Discovery. Fucking I hope so, Daniel. Daniel Nolan's also involved in how I bought the story of how I bought my store. He's involved in that too. T. Stoney, Matthew Matson, Apple Crow, the DJD Show, Mary Ashmead, Silver Spike, Captain Robert April, who had to leave, Mecha Random 42. Please subscribe to Mecha Random 42. I think she'll be probably starting a stream here soon. Zephyr Khan, or is it Chan? I'm sorry. Going up the road here. Dalton Mortimer, just because we shouted him out. I don't think he was actually here. Matt Guy, Lemac, Ajax, Mako, Tim F. I'm going up some more. Love Pawn. How's it going, Love Pawn? Malwinius Crino Ulfrem from York. Hello. How's it going? I had to say that one slow, so I wouldn't. General Brick. Did you see Mark Hamill's recent passive-aggressive tweet about the new Star Wars films? I haven't, General Brick. I got to look at that. I will look at that right after the show. 1903 TX. Sorry, I'm going to read your chat. I don't know what the context was, but that's some real Deus Ex Machina shit right there. With Michael Burnham. Yeah, probably. I'm going to assume that was for Michael Burnham. CD Horde and Jez Oldfield. Sorry, Jez. And I'm looking for anybody. Tickleman Blade. Hidden Wiki. And 40 ounces of ice cold gender fluid. Now, I want to thank once again the super chats, which were quite super today. Like fucking insane today. Oh, did I hope I didn't. Oh, Rolocat, $2. I gotta keep my thing open. Rolocat, I owe you another apology. This is the second time I've done it to you. You stop tipping me, I'm not going to be surprised. So props to Rolocat for the £2 super chat. Thank you for the tip jar. I truly appreciate it. And the super chats were today. Let's show it. Let's fucking show it. These guys deserve props for helping out here with the Nerdrotic channel. We got Tamrocks for $100. Chad Welsh, $5. Tamrocks again for $5. Perpetual Punster, $5. Neon Visual, who wants to start a pool with the £2 super chat. Start a pool to guess STD's cancellation date. I like that. Tamarocks, $5 more. Rolocat, £2 for the tip jar. Movie Phenobia, $1.99. And Sculpted Leather Art by Viking Bitch, $2. Wanting to know when Dennis and I met and fell in love. I think it's more of a met. We have a long way to fall in love, but someday, you never know. It might be that story of the two old guys who just hung out for so fucking long that by the time they're like 95, they realize, yeah, maybe we're just gay for each other. I don't know. You never know. You never know. And that's where we're gonna end today's show, folks. Everybody, thank you for hanging in there. We had up to 120 viewers today, and that is amazing. That is amazing. And most of you stayed through the whole thing, and I really appreciate that. Hope you had a good time. Yeah, this is seriously the best chat ever. I had fun, so I hope you guys had fun. Thank you again, Rolocat. I will see you on the next one. Our next show will be tonight, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time, Haunting of Hill House. I definitely want to talk to you guys about this one because I think it may be better than even I thought it was. And Doors and Corners, everybody. Also, our next Susan will be on later today on Midnight's Edge After Dark. I think it's 3 p.m. Central or 5 p.m. Central. And it's the Goddesses of Gore. So please check out Susan on the Goddesses of Gore. Go to her Twitter to get the exact time. I'm sorry, that might be out. That might be wrong. I think Mecca is going to be doing a live stream here pretty soon. We're going to be doing a paranormal one very, very soon. Very, 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 very soon. And of course, there's Friday Night Tights. And of course, Daredevil drops. And we're going to be talking about Titans. And we'll be back for Doctor Who and all that other stuff. So everybody, be nice to each other. Doors and Corners. And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. Cheers.